Welcome to Flashpoint, the channel where we uncover stories that shape our world, explore mysteries, and break down the events that leave us asking questions. Today, we're diving deep, literally, into one of the most shocking modern tragedies of ocean exploration, the implosion of the Titan Submersible by OceanGate. This is not just a story about technology failing at extreme depths, but about human ambition, risks, warnings ignored, and the unforgiving power of the deep ocean. Imagine descending into the pitch-black depths of the North Atlantic. The water above you grows heavier with every meter. The sunlit surface is far behind, replaced by a crushing silence. And far below, nearly 4,000 meters down, lies the wreck of the Titanic. A site of history, mystery, and fascination for over a century. Many have dreamed of seeing it in person. But on June 18, 2023, that dream turned into a nightmare. OceanGate's Titan submersible vanished during its dive, and what followed was a frantic international search. Endless media coverage, and finally, the chilling discovery. The Titan had imploded, killing all 5 on board instantly. So how did it happen? Why did a vessel designed to withstand such depths fail so catastrophically? And what does this tragedy tell us about the limits of technology, safety, and human determination? Let's break it down. The Titan was not like other deep-sea submersibles. Traditionally, vessels designed to go to extreme depths are built from thick steel or titanium spheres, carefully engineered to distribute the enormous pressure equally across their structure. But Titan was experimental. It was made from carbon fiber and titanium, a combination never used before for repeated dives to such extreme depths. The carbon fiber hull was meant to be lighter, cheaper, and easier to produce than a full metal design. OceanGate believed this innovation could make deep-sea exploration more accessible. But here's the problem. Carbon fiber behaves differently under stress compared to metal. When metal is stressed, it bends slightly, but tends to return to its shape. Engineers know how it reacts, and its long-term performance is predictable. Carbon fiber, on the other hand, is strong in one direction, but weaker when stress comes from different angles. And under cycles of pressure, compressing and releasing repeatedly, dive after dive, the material can develop microscopic cracks. These cracks can grow with time, weakening the structure without showing obvious signs, until the failure is sudden and catastrophic. The Titan had already completed several dives before the fatal mission. Experts have suggested that each descent may have damaged the hull little by little, creating tiny weaknesses that went undetected. The company did not follow traditional safety certifications, dismissing them as slow and restrictive. Instead, Titan was operated as an experimental craft. OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, who was also on board during the final dive, often defended this approach, saying innovation requires risk and that safety regulations were holding back progress. But many in the deep-sea community raised alarms. Years before the tragedy, engineers, industry experts, and former employees had warned OceanGate about the potential dangers. Letters were written. Concerns were voiced. Some said that the carbon fiber hull could fail catastrophically. Others pointed to the company's lack of standard testing. But these warnings were brushed aside, and Titan continued to dive. On June 18, 2023, Titan set off from its support ship, the Polar Prince, carrying 5 passengers. Along with Stockton Rush, there was British businessman Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, and his 19-year-old son Suleiman, and French explorer Paul-Henri Nargioletti, one of the world's leading experts on the Titanic wreck. They descended into the ocean, connected to the surface ship only by a text-based communication system. About an hour and 45 minutes into the dive, communication was lost. At first, the crew on the Polar Prince hoped it was a technical glitch. But as minutes turned into hours, fear set in. An international search was launched, involving ships, aircraft, and underwater robots from the United States, Canada, and France. The world watched as rescuers raced against time, believing that Titan might still be intact, but trapped deep in the ocean, with only limited oxygen left. The haunting countdown of hours of breathable air remaining dominated headlines. Families of those on board waited in agony, hoping for a miracle. But the truth was far more sudden and merciless. Days later, debris from Titan was discovered on the seafloor, not far from the Titanic. The U.S. Navy revealed that they had detected acoustic signals on the day of the disappearance. An underwater implosion, consistent with the loss of the submersible. This meant Titan had not run out of oxygen or gotten trapped. It had been destroyed instantly, at the very depth it was built to explore. To understand the implosion, we need to consider the physics of the deep ocean. At the Titanic's depth, around 12,500 feet, the pressure is over 380 times greater than at the surface. That's about 5,500 pounds per square inch. Imagine the weight of a skyscraper pressing on every square inch of your body. That's what the Titan had to withstand. If the hull was weakened in any way, even slightly, the pressure would not forgive it. The ocean does not negotiate. When Titan's carbon fiber hull finally gave way, the collapse was immediate. In less than a millisecond, the structure crumpled, and the immense force of the ocean rushed in. The people on board would not have felt pain or fear in those final moments. It was too fast for the brain to register. In a sense, they never knew what happened. The implosion released a burst of energy, breaking the craft apart into pieces, scattering debris across the seafloor. This tragedy raises uncomfortable questions. Should OceanGate have been allowed to operate without proper certification? Was innovation prioritized over safety? Were the warnings taken seriously enough? The story of Titan is not only about science and engineering. It's about human decisions, ambition, and the price of risk. The appeal of the Titanic wreck has always been strong. It's a symbol of human pride, of technology failing against nature, and of tragedy. The Titan's implosion feels like history echoing itself, a modern disaster layered over the memory of a century-old one. Both stories remind us that the sea is not a place where rules can be bent. It demands respect, precision, and humility. In the aftermath, investigations have been launched. Engineers will study the debris to learn exactly how the hull failed. Families mourn their loved ones, who were adventurers, dreamers, and pioneers in their own right. The deep-sea community is left shaken, aware that progress in exploration must always balance innovation with uncompromising safety. For the rest of us, the story is a stark reminder of how fragile technology can be when pushed against the extremes of nature. It is also a reminder of our endless curiosity, the same force that drives us to climb mountains, explore space, and dive to the ocean's depths. That curiosity brings progress, but also risk. The Titan's loss is one of those moments in history where the world pauses, reflects, and debates what should come next. And perhaps, in remembering this tragedy, we also remember the lesson. The ocean is vast, dark, and more powerful than we can imagine. we can explore it with respect, caution, and care. Here at Flashpoint, we bring you the stories that matter, the ones that make us think about the choices we make, the risks we take, and the lessons we can learn. The implosion of OceanGate's Titan is more than a technical failure. It is a human story, a reminder of ambition colliding with reality. Thank you for watching. If you found this deep dive into the Titan submersible tragedy informative, please subscribe to Flashpoint for more stories like this. Together, we'll keep exploring the events that shape our world, asking the questions that need to be asked, and uncovering the truths that lie beneath the surface.